Crypto right now is coiling up for a major move. Let me show you guys on the charts what I am talking about, and it is at some critical levels, make or break levels for Bitcoin, which is the driver of this crypto markets, whether you like it or not. If Bitcoin pumps, that's going to be very good for the altcoins. However, if it dumps, that could tank your altcoins. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin. I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here. So my opinion on this market is still bullish and has been bullish. Now, also want to be talking to you guys later in this video about a few altcoin setups, which will include AI16Z, which I have some of, VRA, which is Verasity, and Memecoin, MEMEUSDT, or USD, and see what has gone on in these markets later in this video. I highly don't recommend that you guys skip through because you guys are going to be missing a lot of important details about Bitcoin. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into some major economics and crypto news here first before diving into the charts, because we do have quite a few things to be anticipating in September. Of course, the Fed meeting is going to be huge. I think that is, well, right now, let's take a look at the CME Watch tool, which is very interesting. I mentioned this yesterday. Okay, since yesterday's U.S. job report came out, and it was terrible. Okay, it was a terrible job report, which now is gonna leave the Fed with almost no room to stay put with the current rate range, right? We're seeing a 100% of an ease right now. Okay, let's just refresh this because it could change hour to hour, but it has been very accurate. As it gets closer to the Fed meeting, okay, because it takes into consideration of new data that comes out, economic data that comes out. So let's just go ahead and wait for this real quick. Are we still at 100%? We're still at 100%. Wow. So that was a huge job report that came out yesterday for August. Only 22,000 jobs added, and that could probably be revised down, which is terrible. So it's really going to leave the Fed with no room but to cut rates. But by how much? We have an 89% chance of cutting by 25 basis points, 11% chance of cutting by 50 basis points. Okay, current rate is 4.2 it's 425 to 450. Okay, so wow, I mean, if it cuts by 50, I think that could shock the markets. I think we could get some mixed reactions at first, but I think I think as the market digests that, it could still really unleash the bulls in this market, because that's when the cheap money is coming into the markets. Okay, so that's macro. Okay, that's very important to be paying attention to. That is September 17th. Let's go ahead and go to the first piece of news here, which is Coinpedia, Bitwise CEO. Bitcoin should be 200K already by now, but, okay, yeah, I agree. This has been a very long and mixed bull cycle. Comparing to what we have seen back in 2021, that was a much more straightforward one. I haven't lived through 2017 yet, but I heard that was crazy. But right now, I mean, this year has just been we have just been seesawing around Bitcoin. Okay, a lot of nothing happening, a lot of downwards price action, right? Especially when Bitcoin hit about 110K and went all the way down to about 70K. Wow. So yeah, I agree. I mean, this has been very slow, but I do think that 200K is still on the table, which will give the altcoins a lot of room to run. The altcoins it hasn't even gotten started yet, okay? It hasn't even gotten crazy yet. Let's take a look into the next piece here, is also by Coinpedia. Gold price to reach 5,000 while Bitcoin stays stuck, says Peter Schiff, which is a huge Bitcoin skeptic, okay? At least the last time I've watched him back in a couple years ago. I'm not sure if he's changed his standpoint a little bit, but I mean, last time I've seen him, he was a huge gold bug and a Bitcoin skeptic. Okay, but I think as the cheap money comes in, that is going to propel Bitcoin into risk-on assets like stocks. So I mean, gold could probably be taking a lead first, but I think crypto and stocks are going to be following. Of course, these are just my opinions and not financial advice. So you guys got to do your own research. Let's take a look into the next piece here, which is by Crypto Potato. Meme Core keeps pumping by double digits. Bitcoin struggles at 111K weekend watch. Yeah, Meme Core. I think I've seen that meme coin. Right. Let's take a look. Crypto bubbles here. Meme Core. That is number 40 right now. That is a meme coin I've talked about before, and I've seen the chart. It's looking crazy. But the chart I'm really looking at is total 3 because that is representative of all altcoins in this market except Ethereum. If that thing pumps, if total 3 pumps, then we're gonna see a lot more uh, altcoins pumping, right? And of course, that's gonna be affected by Bitcoin. Let's take a look into the next piece here, which is by You Today. XRP bears suffocating. Bitcoin makes unexpected 112,000 recovery. Shiba Inu is this first positive sign. Yes, I still think that this is a bullish sign for Bitcoin. I am still long on Bitcoin, of course, on a higher time frame, like the monthly time frame. It still looks like a very bullish chart. Even on the lower time frames, like the weekly time frame, which is not low. I mean, it's actually a still longer time frame, but just considering how long this cycle has been, I mean, that is even considered a little bit of a lower time frame now, right? I've been waiting since March 2024 for quite a bit of my bags to recover. I've seen some recover, but I mean, I still think that it is. I still think that it is going to recover. I've seen quite a bit of them bounce back and some more. So that's why I think this is a much more volatile bull market than I've seen back in 2021. Now let's take a look into the next piece here, which is by Cointelegraph. Bitcoin breaks out, but weak U.S. job data breaks bulls again. Time to risk on or risk off. I mean, I really don't think I think that I think the authors or analysts who kind of link incorrect events to actions in the markets. I mean, I don't think Bitcoin bulls broke because of the weak U.S. jobs data coming out. Because if anything, that is going to fuel the Fed to lower rates. Um, and I mean that's the logical reaction, right? I mean there could be an emotional reaction that you get scared and you pull your money out, but the logical reaction is the Fed is going to lower rates because of the weak U.S. jobs data. Unfortunately, I wish that the Fed is lowering rates because of a better circumstance, like lowering inflation. But I mean that's probably not going to happen. Um, so yeah, I mean, I disagree with this headline because as a result of the weak jobs data, there's going to be cheaper money coming in. That's going to urge the Fed to lower rates. I am risk on. That's just my opinion. All right, let's come to the charts here. Okay, Bitcoin chart, monthly time frame. I'm still bullish on this chart here because first of all, I got a couple of points to make here. August monthly candle close has not retraced that entire July pump back there. Okay, if we start getting monthly candle closes below 105K, then I'll be a little bit more worried, right? However, a few other points here is on the monthly time frame, RSI reading, we're still nowhere near the 2021. We still have not been anywhere near the 2021 RSI top, right? Which was back in which was huge overbought, right? That was at about over 90, and of course the 2017 monthly RSI readings, right? When we have not been anywhere near that. So, I mean, does it have to play out exactly the same? Like, we have to go up to 90? No, but is there anything telling me otherwise right now? Also, no. And of course, we have not even really begun the Fed rate cut cycle yet. That's about to come, which is going to be fueling cheap money into this market. So those are the points that I am still that makes me bullish on a longer term here, starting from the monthly. Even though on a lower time frame, like the weekly time frame, I did point out that there is a rising wedge to be mindful of. Now, this rising wedge is a bearish pattern that has a higher chance of breaking to the downside. If it does, by this point, for example, price target would be about about just above 75,000 here, 77,000. Okay, so it's going to be a pretty steep breakdown. However, there's quite a bit of support underneath the between the breakdown point and the breakdown target. Uh, Including the weekly 50 SMA, that's pretty low right now at about 96,000, but even above 100,000, we still have quite a bit of moving averages. Right now, it is getting support from the weekly 21 SMA. If that does not hold, the 3-day 50 SMA is about 108K. Daily 200 SMA, which has all types of significance, which is at about 100 and almost 102K right now. So quite a bit of support, but between a possible breakdown and the breakdown target. Okay, so let's take a look into altcoins now. Okay, let's take a look into altcoins. Let's take a look into AI16Z. See what has happened in this coin. Okay, I am long on AI16Z. I am looking to take a short target profit on this coin because I am on leverage with this coin and I don't want to be carrying leverage for that long. I want to realize my profits. With spot positions, I will hold longer, but I still take profits. Let's take a look into AI16Z here, weekly time frame. I talked about a falling wedge pattern that has broken out back in about February of this year. It has gone down some more after that breakdown, but I think this breakout's still valid because the lowest point here will still be above that upper trend line of that pattern it broke out of. Now, breakout target for this pattern here would be about $1.70. Let's see if it gets there because price targets are estimates only. Very much depends on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts dumping, these altcoin setups are not going to be worth much. Let's take a look into what AI16Z has been doing since the bounce back here, since it reached about this is about 11 cents. Okay, so we have actually gone down some more, about 11 cents there. So since it bounced back, it has also formed this smaller falling wedge, broke out of here back in July. And since the breakout here, which has a price target of about 30 cents, it has gone down by some more. But so let's see here. Would I still say that this is still valid? Uh, it is still valid because I've extended that upper trend line here, and this current price action is still above that upper trend line. Okay, so let's take a look into a smaller time frame here, daily time frame. I mentioned this last time. I've adjusted the bottom trend line here, and since last time, and we still have a smaller falling wedge, the smallest falling wedge here. If it breaks out by this point, price target would be about 17.5 cents here, price target. Let's see if it could start hitting some of these price targets. However, also have to consider the downside because even though falling wedges has a higher chance of breaking out, they could still break down. And of course, just because if it breaks out does not mean that the price target it's gonna be met 100%. Okay. Let's take a look into Verasity. What has been going on with Verasity here? VRA. Let's take a look into the weekly time frame. Just do a quick recap for you. Weekly time frame here. Falling wedge pattern here. I'm waiting for TradingView to load my charts. but I can see immediately falling wedge pattern here. Since the breakout here, price target would be about 1.5 cents above 1.5 cents for this breakout. Quite a bit of resistance along the way, including this very steeply sloping down, downward sloping weekly 200 SMA. Okay, if it keeps sloping down like that, and if price action goes up to that moving average, I would say that it's very likely it's going to get rejected before getting support somewhere. Okay, and right, that's basically what I'm seeing. When I see a downward sloping, steeply downward sloping moving average, that's going to be a very strong resistance. And let's take a look here. So since it broke out here a couple of weeks ago, it hasn't really been doing too much. I did mention on the daily time frame that there was a falling wedge pattern. Price target for this falling wedge pattern would be about 0.19 cents here, okay? And then since the breakout of this huge falling wedge pattern on the weekly time frame, right? It has also formed a smaller falling wedge pattern here. That looks like it has already broken down to the downside. This is what I mean. It could still, falling wedges could still break down. They have a smaller chance of breaking down, and this happened. Okay, so what could VRA be doing here? Let's see if this could be recharted. Give me 1 second here. Let's see here. It looks like this could be recharted. I am estimating this daily candle wick because I can't really see it without the trend lines in the way, but I'm estimating, and this still looks like a falling wedge pattern. Recharted. Okay, so this is what I could potentially be looking at. Now, the price target, which is the opening of the pattern. Take a measurement. All right, there's too many trend lines in the way here. So let me take a measurement here. And a price target, estimated price target would be about 0.1, almost 0.19 cents price targets. Okay, so let's see if VRA could hold above this falling wedge and break out of it to the upside. Otherwise, there could be more downside, of course. Let's take a look into Memecoin, which is MEMEUSDT. All right, see what's happening with this coin here. Let's take a look into the weekly time frame where I mentioned that there was a breakout here. Falling wedge pattern. Again, a pattern you should definitely be getting to know. It's probably the most common pattern you guys would see. Very simple, very effective. Memecoin broke out of this huge falling wedge pattern back in the week of July. First week of July, and price target for this one would be about 2.7 cents here. Let's see if it gets there. It has gone on top of the weekly 21 SMA as support. It could be going back to retest it. It's currently at about 21.8 cents, or excuse me, 0.28 cents, 0.22 cents almost. Okay, 0.22 cents. Quite a bit of decimals. Let's take a look into the daily time frame. Daily time frame, I have adjusted this pattern here since last time we have talked about this coin. Now it is a smaller falling wedge that I'm seeing here. Price target for this breakout would be about, I think it's already broken now. Let's take a look. Let's zoom in a little bit more into a smaller time frame and get a better read. It's already broken out, and the price target on this 4-hour time frame, much more clear picture, is about a 0.345 cents price target. So this is basically what I'm seeing. If it could come back up to about 0.45 cents here, it could form some type of a cup and handle pattern, but still too early to say. So this is basically what I'm seeing for some of these coins here. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins or any other coins in this market by dropping a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.